Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. Welcome to your World Cup debrief here on the To the Window Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Chris, one half of the To the Window Sports Betting Podcast. Checking in with you guys after a wild Monday that we had in the group stages of the World Cup. Want to talk a little bit about what happened and talk a little bit about what's going to happen today as we start to wind down the first round of matches in the group stage here. So before we get going, as always, I want to ask you guys to please like, subscribe, share the content. Help Jemiah and I grow the channel as we are looking to get to 500 subscribers. Y'all, 500 is the game changer on YouTube. Helps us monetize the channel. Please help us get in that direction. A click, a follow, everything you guys do really does help us. It's not a bunch of BS. So if you can take a second today to do it, would really appreciate it. So that said, I don't have a lot for you today other than to tell you what happened yesterday. And yesterday was wild. Jemiah and I recorded a podcast. We were recording together as Spain and Cape Verde drew 0-0 here in Atlanta. What a wild result for Cape Verde, man. Good for them. Talk about memories of a lifetime in that nation. And we have a few friends who were fortunate to be in the building for that. Like, what an incredible thing to witness. Yes, it was 0-0. I don't want to hear any of that. 0-0 is an exciting BS because that game was fascinating to watch. So shout out to a group which is completely level after one round of matches because Uruguay and Saudi Arabia also drew last night 1-1. So 2 goals scored between 4 teams in Group H yesterday. And then in Group G yesterday, same story, draws across the board. We had a pretty exciting draw last night between New Zealand and Iran 2-2. And then Belgium drew with Egypt 1-1. And admittedly, a little bummed out on the bets yesterday. I went 1 for 6, I went for goal scorers and not freaking one of them hit. I did hit on Belgium and Egypt both scoring, but Spain kind of let me down, as I'm sure that was the case for a lot of you as well. So not going to beat myself up over it, but I will say this. So far, we're through play in Group H. We still have Groups I and J, which are going to be happening today, and then K and L happening tomorrow. We've seen some insane results so far. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Qatar taking a result against Switzerland, the Cape Verde match yesterday, even Egypt to a certain extent, but I do think Egypt is the second best team in that group. Japan, Netherlands being what it was, Australia beating Turkey. Like, we've seen some pretty interesting results to start, right? And thinking about it before recording today, my takeaway on this is the way you feel about upsets in the first few days of March Madness, that's what you're seeing right now. And so I reiterate that point. We talked about it on the pod yesterday, which I should have up shortly for you guys. And I'm saying that because I don't see these kinds of outcomes for all of these teams being sustainable over the long haul. I don't see Qatar being able to ride their way into a third place finish in that group. There simply is just too much other quality in that group. Scotland maybe third place. We'll see. But admittedly, I don't see this trend of upsets or draws continuing because any big team like the Netherlands who had a draw, Brazil that had a draw, even Uruguay, Spain definitely. We'll see what's going to happen in the further matchups that we have today and tomorrow. But I think these teams are getting their sea legs, so to speak. I think people are getting used to the heat. It is fascinating to me that the European teams have struggled so far out of the gate. I don't think that's going to necessarily continue over the next 2 days, depending on the matchup. But it's been really interesting to watch how these teams have tried to find their footing in the tournament and which ones have and which ones haven't. So that said, I hope you've enjoyed the crazy results so far because I think once we get through this first round of games, moving into the second round of games on Thursday, that's going to stop. So putting that out there for you because I want to talk through the matchups that are happening today, first and foremost. And so as we're looking through the matchups that are happening today, the first one that we have happening is going to be between France and Senegal. That is a 3:00 Eastern kickoff. We've talked about it a little bit. And so the really interesting thing for me here is going to be I think France is going to win. The odds for France winning right now, checking the books, I'm seeing minus 212 is the best odds available, 220, 225 in certain books. Senegal, you're seeing plus 600, basically, maybe a little bit higher for them to win. Draw at 426. There's a part of me that's tempted in the draw based on the activities that we've seen yesterday where everybody drew. but I also don't think every day can you react to what happened the day before. Not every match today will be a draw. And so, do I think France is going to win? Yes, but at minus 200, the only value in that play is to make it a parlay. If you are going to consider betting on the spread on this game, like I am, do I think France wins by more than 2? No. So I see Senegal actually on Bovada right now. I see Senegal at +1. Yeah, I'm inclined, because also that covers me for if a draw happens as well. But if I go to make that bet right now, +108, not crazy value there. If I bet a draw outright, it is +340 is what I'm seeing on Bovada. I've been getting my butt handed to me on these results. I'm gonna play the spreads today. I'm gonna go Senegal +1 at +108. I'm essentially gonna double my money there. As we move to the later matchup, we've got Iraq and Norway, 6 p.m. Eastern. I can tell you the prop I've already locked in for this because I mentioned it on the pod yesterday. Erling Haaland's going to score 2 goals. I got that at 3-1, something like that. Bovada is not the friendliest for accessing my bets, but it's already gone to the window. Lock that sucker in, because I do think, I honestly, like, I can see +1.5, +2 for Iraq is an interesting number. They're +1,200 to win. Norway is -475, 550 on a draw, +550. Norway is going to win this match. I do think the upsets are over. For me, the over 3 in this matchup, that's a solid number. A lot of times it's over 2.5, 3. Over 3 is a solid number here. +108 again. I've got to make some money back, so I'm going to add that to the card today as well. And then for today as well, Argentina and Algeria. Argentina favored by a goal, goal and a half. -235 for Argentina to win outright. A lot of action here around the goal number. 340 +345 for a draw, +675 for Algeria to win. I think that for me, the action on the goal total would be on the under. I don't think, honestly, that Argentina is going to win by more than a goal and a half. So I'm inclined to say Algeria +1.5 is going to be my play on this one today. Yes, I do think that we will get a win for Argentina, but not by more than 2. Hope I'm not wrong. And if we want to go ahead and look for tomorrow, because the matchups tomorrow, Jemiah and I already previewed, let's go ahead and look at Wednesday, June 17th as well. Austria, Jordan, I'm not interested in it. I don't know anything about either team. Austria is favored by a goal and a half. I can't name a single player or coach in that match. I'm not touching this one. So I'm staying away from Austria, Jordan. Portugal, Congo. Portugal's favored by a goal and a half. You've got -370 for a Portugal win. Over under set at 2.5 and 3. Portugal, I think Portugal is going to cover a goal and a half. So I think Portugal wins big. I think Ronaldo is going to come in with big energy, especially seeing what Mbappe and Messi do today. If they both get wins, he's going to be out for blood tomorrow. So I'm keeping that in mind. I'm taking Portugal minus a goal and a half. I'm also going to bet in England, Croatia. That's a 4 p.m. kickoff Eastern time on Wednesday, June 17th. Interesting odds in this one. England is favored, as you might imagine, -139. As I said when I was talking to Jemiah yesterday, I feel like England and Croatia play each other in every tournament. I feel like they play twice a year, whether it's qualifying for the Euros, qualifying for the World Cup, or in this case, in the World Cup. For me, yes, I think England is capable of scoring goals. I think the value play in this one is going to be, this is actually one of the smaller line differentials between, I would call, elite teams in this tournament. You've got England, again, at -139, Croatia +405. You're talking like a 500-point difference there. Most of these other matchups, you're talking almost at 1,000-point or higher difference between the minus a team is favored at and then the plus money odds you're getting for a team if they pull off the upset. So for me personally, I still think England is lacking playmakers in midfield. Yes, they have Declan Rice. Yes, they have Jude Bellingham. Can they link up with Harry Kane? Absolutely. But there's a part of me that says Croatia has been there. Croatia's been in a World Cup final a lot more recently than England has. I'm going to take a draw on this one. The draw at +265. I was considering Croatia plus a half goal or +1, but +265 on a draw. That to me is super interesting. So I'm looking at that one. And then Ghana and Panama plus money for both of those teams to win tomorrow. I can name more players on Ghana. Antoine Semenyo was on fire for Manchester City and Bournemouth this year. God, I wish he would have gone to Liverpool. Sucks he didn't. Probably still would have finished in fifth anyway. Fucking Arne Slot. Wish him the best, though. Thank you for the title. But that said, Ghana plus 123. Said it on the show. Betting on the Black Cats. Take that to the window tomorrow as well. And then the last one, Uzbekistan and Colombia. Man, there's no value here. There's an 1,100 point difference between Uzbekistan at plus 800, Colombia minus 275. Honestly, Colombia to win if it's part of a parlay. Otherwise, leave it alone. So, and then the other props that I was looking at as well, like I mentioned for tomorrow, Antoine Semenyo for Ghana. I love him to score. I love Luis Diaz, who's been on fire for Bayern Munich and Colombia. I expect him to score. I also think you'll get interesting odds on Ronaldo. Maybe consider Bruno Fernandes as well, since he'll be the main playmaker there. Had a crazy season, obviously, for, well, now I just forgot who I was talking about. Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United. Sorry about that. And coming back to today for Algeria, I think if they're going to be there, you've got to look at Riyad Mahrez as a potential goal scorer there. Yes, he's old. He's been around forever, but he is the guy who continues to play as if he's 28 and not 35. And if I'm taking a quick look at goal scorers there, I said Lautaro Martinez and Julian Alvarez. Those both are plus 150, plus 165 as of recording. So obviously you could do worse than throwing a couple bucks there. So we'll see how the games shape up today, Tuesday, June 16th, and tomorrow, Wednesday, June 17th. I love I had to look at the calendar to see what tomorrow is. That's a me problem, not you. But either way, I'm going to need some of these bets to turn around. I do think the Cinderella results will start to curtail. I expect we'll start to see that over these matchups over the next few days, and as we get into the second round of group stage matches starting on Thursday, the 18th. So, guys, if you think I'm full of shit, let me know. Because admittedly, yesterday, I thought I was full of shit too. Drop it in the comments here. I appreciate and value your feedback. Make sure you like, subscribe, engage with the content. Again, means the world to Jemiah and I both. Make sure you go check out his WNBA plays from yesterday. He's absolutely killing it out of the gate. Let us know how you feel about that in the comments as well. That's it, y'all. I'm going to get out of your hair. I'm going to try to get some work done here. It's lunchtime on the East Coast before all these matches start up. Talk to you guys soon. Catch you on the next one. Peace.